Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be talking about your least favorite crystal and your least favorite herb, and you can pick one or the other. This is a really important video, probably one of the most important videos, because the least favorite anything you have actually holds all your power. Now this is super interesting, and this is actually how I'm able to heal people very easily, but not very in a fun way. So of course, when I recommend someone a crystal that the person does not even care about or like at all, it's probably the one they need the most. For example, if some what's a good crystal? If someone really despises peridot, for example, like it's disgusting. There's like this green in it and it's like yellow. Like I feel like throwing up when I look at it. You literally just, someone could read you off of that. I highly don't advise you go telling people who know you, or you don't want people knowing your weaknesses or secret, your least favorite anything, because that person will have the key to your weaknesses. Especially after this video. Well, I'll give you an example of something I didn't like back then, and sometime during this video, but back to the point of whatever you don't like the most is something you should be working with the most. Now, and this is, I would like you guys to pause. Like, some of you might have already I don't like lavender, for example. Like, I actually like lavender, it's one of my favorites, but I'd like you guys to think right now. Just pause and just really think about it. Like, what's one smell that's an herb on its own? Even if it's not a perfume, it's like a natural essence. Like, I just can't stand it. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's like, I can't be around it. Like, a lot of you will say lavender. Some of you will say, oh, patchouli. Definitely patchouli, which is actually, it was one of mine until I work with it to the point where I just love it so much. Patchouli is one of the most. I'll tell you guys why. Some of you might be right in that category, like, oh, patchouli, it smells like hippies. It actually doesn't. When you work with patchouli, or when you work with your least favorite scent, the scent fully changes after you work with it to the point where you understand, or you're embodying its essence. I'm going to give you an example. Now, someone recently got a necklace from me, and they're like, well, these stones are beautiful, but there's something about, like, it's kind of strange because when I wear it, it's just like the energy in the stone doesn't match what it looks like. For example, they got amethyst with something else, because I'm not going to reveal this person's necklace, but the person got amethyst and they're like, I really love the way it looks, but something about like the amethyst is kind of throwing me off a little bit. I'm like, okay, so what this does is, and the person actually got a previous stone from me as a necklace, and that necklace is something they didn't really want to wear all the time at first, but now that they're wearing it, they wear it all the time. Like, they don't want to ever take it off. And that means they got past the blockage of that necklace. For example, with me, it's kind of obsidian. Yeah, it's kind of obsidian, because obsidian's so intense as to, I do not want to be wearing obsidian as a necklace. It's not a fun stone. And that's for anyone. So basically, with obsidian, I'm just like, let's not put it on the heart chakra today, because I know that obsidian's going to make it kind of crazy. Let's not wear everything but obsidian. And guys, guess what? You're probably going to see me with a giant obsidian necklace in the future, because I'm all about fighting shadows and defeating darkness. And if obsidian's like, it's literally the stone of St. Michael the Archangel. That and lapis. Obsidian and lapis worn together will help you really embody his essence and communicate with him. Now, when it comes to a crystal such as obsidian, and it's not my least favorite crystal, although it's the least favorite crystal to put on after not wearing it for a period of time because it's so intense. Like, I recommend sleeping with it next to the bed if you want to just always have that energy around, just so you're kind of used to it. If you're having too many nightmares, move the stone away. Sometimes the stone's too intense for people, and it'll just be nightmares every single night. But the nightmares are literally your subconscious purging, and it's not there to torture you. So yeah, work with the obsidian if you can. If you can't, then I wouldn't, because it's super intense. Work with snowflake obsidian if you can't, because it's like a really mild obsidian. If you actually have a trauma relating to just even in past lives, where you just don't feel good, you can use a snowflake obsidian as well. Apache's Tears it's a form of obsidian, super, super calming. Brown snowflake obsidian is really good too, if you can get that, which I actually just got some. I'm going to be putting a bunch of stuff on the website coming up soon, but If you're not aware, my website's floridastoneman.com. With Obsidian, that's one of my least favorites. And what does that say? It's basically, well, Obsidian, it's a lot of people's least favorites just because it's so intense. Like, it literally, any problem on the spot, it will amplify just so that you release it and so that it doesn't come back. And it's about the heart center, it's about the third eye, it's about any chakra that you're putting it on, it's working on very directly. It makes you want to yell and scream and stuff like that just because that's what Obsidian does. But after that, you're no longer your own worst enemy. And once you get through the energies of that Obsidian, now you don't really care about it when you put it on. I hope you guys are seeing a trend because people are like, oh, I don't get Obsidian now. Well, I wouldn't either after what I just said, but it's probably going to help you become your own best friend versus your own worst enemy. So you get past things that are hurting you, and guess what? You're succeeding more than you ever have because you actually had the courage to deal with it. Now, I'm going to use lavender as an example because I'm talking about crystals and herbs in this video. And this is really interesting because I find, some people are going to be like, he's talking about me! Poor Quan, why is he talking about me? I don't want to be put on the spot. Well, you're being put on the spot, right? With lavender, for people who abhor, which I don't like using the word hate because it's not a good word. People who abhor, which means hate if you didn't Google search abhor, B-A-B-H-O-R. Okay. So, for people who abhor lavender, those people have problems with the crown chakra. And you can literally read a person just based on their least favorite herb, and it's accurate every single time. So for people, whether the person will admit it or not, so if someone has a major problem with lavender, that's an essence of nature, and it's literally God pieces. He puts a little piece of himself in every root, herb, crystal, etc. So this is a property of just a spectrum of light that he's created for us to work with. For example, if you do not like lavender, you cannot stand it for whatever reason, this means there's something about you that has trouble relaxing. Like you have a problem relaxing on a certain subconscious level. For example, if you'll go to bed at night, some kind of overthinking will keep you up. There are certain things in you and lavender relates to certain phobias as well. So there's certain things that you'll just look at in another person and just be like, oh, this is kind of like, I don't like, there's something about this person that just makes me like kind of just irritated. Like this person's just really irking me. Like what's with this person? And lavender helps you get past blockages such as that. So after you don't like lavender and you work with that smell, even though it makes you want to puke, when you go out in public, you'll see other people and you'll be like, that doesn't really bother me anymore, because that's a little something that lavender does. That's just an example. Now with patchouli, because patchouli is a very heavy one for people, this is crazy because it's not crazy. You're able to fully read people just based off of an herb they don't like. For example, and I had problems with the root chakra a while ago because I was so at one point in my life I was so nice I wouldn't even snap back at people, but I actually learned to be fiery and be like, hey, that's not right. It's not a flight, and that ain't right. Get out. But it took me a while to work up to that point where I'm literally defending the weak, defending the people who really need to be stood up for. So if I'm in line at Chick-fil-A, for example, and they're Chick-fil-A, you'll never catch me at any kind of commercial chain. No, I'm just using that as an example. It's a better example than some of my past video examples if you saw some of those. So if you see me in line and someone's like literally stepping on someone, I'm not going to sit back and watch. I might have been the person like, oh, well, if I say something, I'm going to cause a problem. It might offend this person. I'm like, hey, you leave them alone. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, you leave that person alone. I have a lot of fun making these YouTube videos and helping people, if you guys couldn't tell, but back to my example. So I actually went into a phase where it was either fight or flight, and it was either too much of the root chakra, and that's why I didn't like patchouli at the time, and I didn't even know it. So one thing I did is I filled my lotion up with patchouli, and I wore the patchouli every single day, and it made me feel like, it made me a few times I almost threw up. This is when I was younger, so a few times I almost flat out threw up because the patchouli smell was too much. But after I got over the scent of the patchouli, I noticed it opened certain abundant centers in my heart chakra. It made me receptive to certain paths of abundance that were already there, and then it just started pouring in that direction just because I work with that, because patchouli is good for abundance because it connects the root chakra to the heart chakra, which is literally you not running away from certain opportunities because they might be kind of scary. Like, oh, I'm not going to take this. Oh, I'm not going to take this business opportunity because it might be like too big or whatever. Or it might be like, it might not work out, whatever, because I haven't. And people, you guys do this all the time. Like, oh, I don't want to take this. I don't want to start my small business because if I have too many customers and I won't be able to keep up with all the customers. Yeah, you will. Or I won't start the small business because I'm afraid what my family think. Well, certain herbs, such as patchouli, will dissolve those blockages on a subconscious level, because you got to keep in mind, even on an aromatherapy level, because these herbs, these crystals, these essences are vibrations that override your vibration if you allow them to. For example, if you have just fear vibrations, what's a good herb that combats fear? Rosemary's good for that. Rosemary's good for dominating the energies of fear. So you work with, and for something you're like, ugh, does someone smell rosemary? And there's people like that. Like, what's it? Guys, you may comment if you'd like. Something that you really don't like, that you don't, because if it's in the past, it doesn't matter because you got over that blockage. It's just a blockage you got over. So I don't know if you feel like commenting, unless you know that your worst enemy is not looking at your comment, etc. I don't know. It's up to you guys, but even with crystals, I'm going to go back to crystals. Black Hypersthene. I did not like this crystal when I first put it on because it made my eyes twitch all the time. Like, I'm like, why is my eyes spasming? And I actually went through that blockage for about 2 months, and I'm like, I know so many other spiritualists who actually go through the same blockage. And I learned something new about myself, and it helped me open different spiritual gifts because it helps confront blockages that are not being confronted. Even the silliest, tiniest blockages you don't think are blocking you fully block you. For example, the most silly blockage it confronted for me, and I'm using myself as an example a lot for this video because it's really going to help you guys, because I'm not going to use other people as an example, especially when it comes to this video topic. I don't mind using myself as an example. So with Black Hypersthene, the crystal was so intense, I'm just like, did I wear it too long? Like, is the crystal supposed to do this? Like, why is it making my eyes twitch that much? It was trying to teach me to drink more water. But it actually, in a vision, it showed me how. Because you can scry with Hypersthene. So I'm like, why do I need to be drinking more water? This is the silliest, dumbest little tiny blockage. Like, well, it came to me from my angels in this vision with the help of the crystal Black Hypersthene. It helps you literally confront the most minute, small blockage that's blocking bigger things. And I didn't like the stone because of just the way it made me feel. It taught me that spiritualists, and this is good for people who have those like twitchy eyes, like you can't see the twitching, but it's like the eyelids twitching on the inside. Yeah, it's physical, spiritual, both physical and spiritual, which is possible. So number one. And yeah, science will just say you're not drinking enough water, or potassium, magnesium, etc. Okay, maybe you're already taking care of that and you're noticing that it's still twitching. Well, this has to do with the physical body and the spiritual body as they upgrade. You have to keep in mind it's extremely intense for your spiritual and physical body to upgrade together. That's why some of you get crazy itchy. Sometimes you get like the pressure on your forehead, etc. Your gifts are opening, but your body, your spiritual body is kind of passing your physical body. And how do you catch that up? Well, you keep the physical body extra nourished. Not regular nourished, like extra nourished. So every time your eye twitches and you have that problem, you drink 7 sips of water. For how many people I was able to help with their spiritual gifts opening and them having that annoying little twitching eye problem, I would not be able to help them, and no one else would be able to help them because no one knew what that was until I actually sat through the unpleasantness of the crystal Black Hypersthene. There's other crystals that I didn't like in the past too, like dogtooth calcite. It looks like literally rotten dog's teeth. Like it's not a pretty stone. I used to want to puke when I saw the stone. I work with that stone and I noticed certain phobias went away. Orbicular jasper, for example, it'll help you get past certain phobias, especially like trinophobia, which I don't make a video on phobias alone. So your phobia actually contains the absolute most of your fears. Trinophobia is the fear of really tiny holes, but if you get past that fear by working with that fear, which it sucks to work with your fear, but it's just something for you to do on a shadow work level and a subconscious level. So ask yourself, look at a picture of a bunch of holes. For example, the lotus seed pods. I used to have one. And look at it and just tell yourself, like, there's nothing scary about this. Why am I afraid of this? It's because it's 100 little tiny holes that you're not really sure what's going into the holes. For example, a hair can... I hope I'm not freaking people with trypophobia out. A hair can go into the holes. A pin can go into the holes. But the thing is, it has to do with insecurity on a subconscious mind and things bugging you in your day-to-day life that shouldn't be bugging you. So maybe for some of the people who have trypophobia, you work with that phobia. You look at pictures of things that are supposed to scare you that are not just gruesome or grotesque, because online will do that just to try to get you scared, because online's evil like that sometimes. But you pass it. Like, look at something natural in nature, like a lotus seed pod. Once you pass that, you're going to feel much stronger. You're going to go out in public. People are not going to be able to interfere with your mental peace as much, etc. So this entire video is about working with your least... And that lotus seed pod is a great example, because it's like for people who have seen a lotus seed pod, it has a bunch of holes in it and then seeds in it. You can meditate on it. You can literally scry on it and you'll see visions of the future. So people are like, what are the visions of the future? Well, certain outcomes that will help you determine, for example, if you're getting a job and like, what would happen if I get a... I taught this in the Crystal Skull video yesterday. So when we see sunlight's 8 hours late. So we're kind of late on this plane, but things have already happened in different dimensional timelines in the future. That's why you have dreams that actually come to life, etc. So you can actually scry with that in Lotus Seed Pod. That'll help you open that gift. Now, what would I recommend if you have a least favorite crystal, a least favorite herb, a least favorite anything? This is the shadow work aspect. You work with it heavily until it stops bothering you, and once it stops bothering you, you're a very strong person because you worked with something that bothered you the most. This leads to gifts being opened, financial abundance blocks being removed, and so much more. Just so much more opens after you fully do this. If you have any questions, you guys feel free to ask them in the comment section. This is not one of those fun videos. This might have made you guys uncomfortable or just feel like, he's telling me to work with lavender. But once you get past the lavender, you're going to notice you're going to go out in public and you're going to be like, Same thing with the lotus seed pods, because it has to do with things getting under your skin, things bothering you. So the commonalities, the common difference, and the common, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. The common things between both the lavender and the lotus seed pod. Lotus seed pod has to do with insecurities because of the trypophobia aspect. The lavender has to do with you being able to relax and having peace of mind. Most likely, if you don't like lavender, you probably are a little bit triggered by lotus seed pods as well because the trypophobia aspect. Just something of that. It has to do with the crown chakra, and all the symptoms usually fall into the same category. Like I said, this is not one of those comfortable videos, but I'm here to help you. Sometimes my information will make you feel uncomfortable, and it should, because you're not going to grow in your comfort zone. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.